Hi folks, Speedway Tag here. I want to show you the sequel to a game I really love, Orchard. And Orchard is over here, okay? Orchard's a 9-card solitaire game. There's 18 cards in it, but you only use 9 for each game. Orchard is one of my favorite solo games. And I've already done a review on Orchard, so I might skip over a lot of the basic rules for the sake of this review. So if you do want to brush up on what's going on there with Orchard, I've done a review of that already. The video's there on the channel. Grove is what we're concerned with today. Grove is the sequel to Orchard. You're laying out cards as tiles, and you are building your orchard, and in combinations that get you the most points. That's what you do in Orchard. That's what you're doing in Grove as well. As you can see, it says it's by Mark Tuck. Again, fabulous design. 9-card solitaire game again. And the same as Orchard, you get the 18 cards. You use 9 of them each game, which mixes it up and keeps it varied and gives you a good different experience each time you play. Now, the question is, I took a little while to get Grove because I was wondering whether it was different enough to Orchard to warrant actually having both of them. I'll tell you what I think at the end of showing you what Grove does. Do we need both Grove and Orchard? Okay, we'll get to the bottom of that by the time the end of this video hits. Okay, so Grove, like I said, it's got 18 cards and the cards are absolutely beautiful. The quality of them is really nice. You've got limes, oranges, and lemons in the trees on these cards, where in Orchard you had, they were yellow, red, and purple fruit. I can't remember exactly what they were. But anyway, you've got green, orange, and yellow here. You know, the card quality is something that I've never felt before on cards. It's not linen finished. Neither is it just your standard card stock. It's got this lovely rough texture to it, which I absolutely love and feels really next level. So you'll notice that as soon as you open up the cards and feel them, they're great. So so the way you set up the game, you deal yourself 9 cards out of the 18. You put 1 in the middle. You give yourself 2 to start in your hand, and the rest of them go there. So there'll be 1, 2, and then there'll be 6 in the deck to draw. And then you've got your dice. In this game, you need the dice because the dice represent the fruit that you're harvesting each time you make some matches on the tiles. So this time we've got, again, we've got the 3 different colored dice. Really great quality. The pips are fruits, which is a nice touch. You can also see the fruit baskets here as well, which look really nice. So the way the dice are set up this time also different a bit to Orchard. Orchard's got a 1, 3, 6 and a fruit basket for 10 and blank 2 spaces. This one's using all 6 spaces, so it's got a 2, a 3, a 4, 5, okay, and a 6, of course, somewhere around it. Take my word for it, there's a 6 here somewhere. I can't see it. Anyway, there it is. There's a 6. And there's also a fruit basket. So all 6 sides of the die is used here. And I'll show you how they score in a minute. You remember in Orchard we had 2 rotten fruit where if you wanted to place an unmatched tree, you take the hit with the rotten fruit. But here that can only happen once in the game, and the squirrel is the thing that represents that and works slightly different to the rotten fruit. The wheelbarrow looks really nice as well. That's for a bumper harvest of 15. If you can, you'll know in Orchard, if you get to the fruit basket on a card, that's as high as you can go. But once in this game, if you can also multiply the fruit basket, you'll get, just once, you'll be able to place that 15 valued wheelbarrow as well. That might not make much sense to you yet if you've never seen how these games work. So, okay, I'll show you how that does work. We put 1 in the middle, okay, and off we go. We're going to place one of these cards on that card, okay? We don't place next to or anything like that. The card you place has got to cover a card or cards already in play. Okay, and you're only allowed to overlap trees of the same color. So if I did this, right, which would be a silly move because I can do much better things than this. But if I did that, that would be okay because I'm overlapping red on red. Okay, but I'm actually going to do this. Well, before I make my move, I should also mention another glaring difference on the Grove cards to the Orchard cards. There's something called a glade, which is an empty space, basically. These are glades, and they add a lot to the game. They add a lot to your strategy, and they make it a little bit less hard and harsh on you. That Orchard's very unforgiving like that, but with a glade, you're allowed to put any tree in over the glade, and it automatically matches. You don't get the points for it, but it's a safe place like that you can play. And that really makes a difference when you really want a card to go down because you can see it working beautifully. But one of the trees might not match. But if you can get that on a glade, then then it's worked out. And here's a classic example. I really want to match these two here, right? This yellow on this yellow and this red on this red. But I've got this green sitting here which doesn't match anything. But thankfully, it's going to go on that glade. All right, so it allows me to do that. So that's the move I'm making. I'm going to place that card on top of here. And now that's where the dice come into play because that's how we're going to score or in thematically speaking, harvest the fruit. There's 2 lemons here going on 2 lemons here. 2 and 2 are 4. So I will be placing a 4 on this as it moves over. This is 1 orange going on 1 orange. 1 plus 1 is 2, I think. And so you place a 2 dice as these move on top there. So you see how that works? That's your mechanism for the whole game. You're placing, and then I'll draw a new card. That's what you're doing. You are placing the tiles or the cards on top of other cards to try and match the trees, add the fruits together, and keep getting higher scores like this. Now, if I came along with this card, okay, with this card, and let me see, what was I gonna do here? Yeah, what about if I did this? Look at this move. Okay, I could place this line of trees on top of this line of trees, and they would match green on green, yellow on yellow, and orange on orange. Okay, so you can see that. Right, when you place it on a tree that's already got a die, you just add the fruit on the tree to the die's value. So 4 plus 2 is 6, and so this die becomes a 6 now on there. Okay, which see how you increase your points. This is 1 plus 2 limes, which is 3 limes. So this goes to a 3, and that's 2 plus 2 oranges will give me a 4 there. And you keep going like this. Take another card. Okay, keep going like this, trying to make the best possible matches, increasing your die values to increase your score, and it's really a lot of fun. I'll try and get that fitting there nicely. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to see those combinations suddenly reveal themselves to you. It's very satisfying. Like that move I did there, where I was able to match 3 trees on 3 trees, and one already had a die on it, so the die went up. That's very satisfying in this game. You know, if you could somehow get 4 trees like that, a group of 4 matching, if you can somewhere, you know, what would I do here? Here's a green, you know, maybe I'd like to bump this red die up to a 6 or even higher. Have I got a green and a red situation happening here? Unfortunately, I don't. Doesn't look like I have. I could go play it safe here. See, with this glade, I can actually put the glade over this die, and the die will remain. I won't lose it, and that might be a way to go. So I can actually go 2 plus 1 is 3. I might do that. Yeah, 1 plus 1 is 2, so I get a 2 red. And the glade is fine to slip over a die that's already there. Again, you can see how that is a little bit more forgiving than Orchard, those of you who know how Orchard works. So far my score is the total of those pips on the die. And we keep going like this. If I can add to the 6, right, then you would be bumping this up to a fruit basket, which is worth 10. Okay, if I just add 1 more fruit to this 6, I can go straight to 10, right? It's not 7, obviously. And as I said before, with this wheelbarrow, if I could add another yellow to, if that was 10, if I added another yellow fruit to it, I can actually place the 15 valued wheelbarrow, which is not in Orchard, which is a nice little bonus here. Once in the game, as I said, you are able to not match. So if I did this, okay, I'm matching the reds, but I'm not matching the yellow and the green. That's unmatched. In that case, I would, it's not a great move, but just for the sake of demonstrating, that yellow is going on a glade, so that's fine. The reds are 2 plus 1 is 3, so I would put a 3 on the reds, but the yellow and the green is not matching there, okay? And so I would have to put the squirrel on there. At the end of the game, the squirrel is worth -1 for the squirrel itself, plus -1 for every dice that is orthogonally connected to the squirrel. So if the game ended here, I'd be getting -1 for that squirrel, -1 for this dice, and -1 for this dice because they're orthogonally adjacent to the squirrel. Love that mechanism with the squirrel. I like that better than what Orchard does with that. Orchard just subtracts 3 points for a match that doesn't work, and you can do that twice in the game, so you can lose up to 6 points. But here, you're only allowed to do this once, and I like the maneuvering of, you might be willing to take a hit on the squirrel if you can get him in a place where there's not many die around him. I like that better than the rotten fruit mechanism in Orchard. Okay, and I would draw another card through my hand, and I just keep placing all these 6 cards here until they're all finished, all placed, total up my score, and that's my score. That's the base version of this game. You're just basically trying to hit your highest score, which is fine. It's a solo game. You're just trying to hit a higher score. You try and beat your friends who might try it as well. We have some really good competitions with this game, trying to get high scores, so that's fine. Okay, so there's the base game of Grove. The differences clearly with to Orchard is the scoring mechanism, the die where you add the number of fruit on the tree and bump up the dice that way. That's different to Orchard. Orchard just goes from 1 to 3 to 6 to 10 whenever you match. As I've just mentioned, the negative aspect of it, the squirrel, is different to the rotten fruit in Orchard. The glades, of course, are an addition here, and that can be quite helpful to you, and help you to get some better points and better scores. The wheelbarrow is also different, where you can get 1 bumper harvest of 15, which is really good. So there are 4 main differences, I guess you could say, between this and Orchard, but it still very much feels like Orchard. As you can see, the main mechanism of placing your card, matching the trees, and scoring points that way with 1 negative possibility. The glades are different, but basically the mechanism is the same. So if we stop talking about that here, do we need Orchard and Grove? I would say no. I don't think you'd need both. I have both because I've got the curse of the collector, so I've got to have both. But if you are choosing between the two, I'd get Grove, because Grove just allows you to do a few extra things which I do think improve the game. So the glades being one. I like the scoring mechanism on the dice here better, and I do like the squirrel mechanic, and I like this opportunity to go for the 15 if you can. The dice look nicer as well, to be honest. So if you're choosing between the two, I think Grove gives you a little bit more, a better solo experience. Only slightly, because Orchard is still fantastic. Right, if that wasn't enough to sway you, this Grove also presents you with, I guess you'd call it, it's more than a variation. It's a full-on expansion, really, when you think about it. And this expansion, I'll explain it to you in a second, but what it does is it settles that issue of, oh, do I really want to play a game where I'm just trying to beat my own score? Some people don't like that. I'm okay with that, but some people don't like that. Well, they've allowed for that in Grove, because on the back of every one of these cards is an objective. Okay, very much button shy Sprawlopolis style idea. And not only is there objectives on the back of these cards, okay, as you can see, every one of them has them. Each objective also has a number in the top left corner, as you can see, okay, and you choose 2 of them in this variant. You choose 2, and now you've got a target score. You're not just trying to beat your highest score. Now it gives you a target score. So if I played with these 2 objectives here, orange juice and key lime pie, okay, my target to win this particular game is 44 plus 30, 74. I've got to score 74 points to win that game of Grove. And I like that too. I wouldn't always play with it because I like the basic game a lot anyway. But if you do want a target score and you want a few little more, a few objectives to also concentrate and introduce into the game, this allows for that, and very nicely. So for example, or in this objective, key lime pie, all lime dice score double, okay? And it nicely matches with the target score as well. Orange juice is, if you've got all 5 orange dice in play, so if you manage to move, see, I've already got 4 orange dice already. If I manage to place this, make another match with my trees and bring out this 5th orange dice, I would have met this objective. All 5 orange dice are in play, bonus 5 points. And so the objectives gives you a few more, 2 more scoring opportunities, and a target score. So you've got key lime pie and orange juice and lime cordial and limoncello and lime jello and orange liqueur, orange marmalade, fruitcake. There's an ice cream in here somewhere and all of those sorts of things. So like every card has got an objective on the back of it. I think that's another reason why if you're choosing between Orchard and Grove, you'd want that opportunity to play with objectives whenever you feel like it. Okay, so don't get me wrong, I love Orchard, and I'm not getting rid of it, even though I've got Grove. But Grove is very nice, and it does take the game forward. Not too far. I don't think this needed to go too much further, but it just takes it far enough to give you a more interesting experience. It's a great solo game. You can whip it out anywhere on a table somewhere out when you're out and about at home. It's very portable, and so your decision whether you want both of them or not. Thanks for watching. See you later.